Okay, Erev Tov, mitzvah number Ayin Tet 79. Short one, maybe we'll do two today. Shelo yachmol hadayan ala halash vehadal b'shat hadin. The judge is not allowed to take pity on the weak person or the poor person while in litigation. Ela she'adin dino la'amito. Rather, he must adjudicate his case based on merits, on what's true. Lo al tzadachem la'alav, not because he has compassion on him. Aval yashve ben ha'ashir ve'adal. He has to equate the rich and the poor. Le'achricho lifroa mashu chayav, and force that he was guilty to pay. Shneimar vedal lo tedar berivo. Do not honor a destitute man in his grievance. V'nichpal ze ha'inyan bimkom acher. We see this mitzvah elsewhere. Shneimar lo tisa pene dal. That's in Sefer Vayikra. I think it's in Kedoshim. Ulshon Sifra. The Midrash says, "Shelo tomar ani huze, v'ani v'ha'ashir chayavim lefarneso." The judge should not say, "Well, the poor guy doesn't have any money, so me and the rich guy were supposed to support him anyways." Azakenu v'nimsa mitparnes b'nikiyut. I will rule in his favor, and then anyways, that just means that the rich guy is going to have to pay him because he's rich anyways, so he's got to pay him. You can't say that. Shneimar tamud lomar lo tisa pnei dal. Should not favor the poor. The purpose of this mitzvah is known. Logic dictates equality in judgment is something that is proper. This mitzvah applies in all places, in all times. Only to men, because men are serving as judges. If someone transgresses this and bends the law out of compassion to the poor, he violates a commandment of a king. But he does not get malkut because it does not involve an action. Okay, mitzvah number 80. Mitzvah number 80. Lehasir hamasa me'al habehema shi'age'a b'masa'a baderech. We are commanded to remove the burden upon an animal that has faltered when it's with his load while it's on the road. Shneimar kitire chamor sona'acha. If you see the donkey of someone you hate crouching, you have to repeat. You have to help him. The enemy here that's referring to is a Jew. Even though we are commanded you're not allowed to hate your Jew, so the question is, how can this say you see a donkey of someone you hate? You're not allowed to hate someone. This situation is possible. You saw the owner of the animal commit an avera in private. You warned him, and he didn't stop. He still did it. In this situation, you would be allowed to hate him because he's a deliberate sinner. That which the pasuk says chamor, lav davka chamor. It's not specifically only a donkey. Ela kol behema, any animal. Ela shediber hakatuv ba'oveh she'achamorim lemasa. Rather, the Torah just speaks in present common situations because donkeys serve as usually carrying burdens. Uchtiv azov ta'azov imo, and then it says you shall help repeatedly with him. Kilomar ozreu, help him. Milashon vayazvu Yerushalayim shulashon chozek. Vayazvu Yerushalayim in the pasuk Nehemiah is referring to fortifying Jerusalem. So the word azov, which normally means to forsake and to leave, here is in reference to helping. Mishosheh mitzvah, the purpose of this mitzvah, lilamed nafshenu b'midat ha'chemla, to train ourselves in compassion. Shemidat meshubachat is very praiseworthy. It goes without saying that's incumbent upon us to have compassion for a person who's in physical pain. Rather, even if he's in distress over monetary loss, we have mitzvah to have compassion and save him. The laws of this mitzvah, let's say the animal belongs to a non-Jew, or the burden belongs to the Jew, vice versa. And the law of someone who encounters his Jewish friend and an enemy, and they require assistance at the same time. In the latter case, the mitzvah is you give precedence to the guy you don't like first. And the reason why you do that is because you're subduing your yetzer hara, your evil inclination. This applies even if the friend requires assistance to unload and the enemy requires assistance to load. Normally preference is given to the one to unload. But here, to fight your Yetzer Hara, you go and help the guy that you don't like first. This is contrary to everything that we see in this world. And this enemy is not the same enemy that we mentioned above about the guy who sinned. Rather, here we're just talking about anyone who you might just not like for personal reasons.
Does that include Bernie Sanders?
Yes. Uperush kitireh. And when the pasuk says, "If you see me'ematu achiyuv," that is from that's talking about within the distance the obligation begins. That in reference, that's 7 1/2 parts of a mil, which is the same as a ris. Okay, so somewhat less than 1/10 of a mile, 500 feet. Once you see within 500 feet somebody that needs your help, you got to help them. Sorry, I did that. But further than 500 feet, you don't have to change your direction to go help. But if you do beyond what's asked from you, chazak ubaruch, blessing shall come. Also included is the law of an elderly or someone dignified. For whom it's not, is dignity to assist with the unloading. The rule is that the obligation is determined entirely what he would do with his own property. If you would do this for your own property, then you should do it to help your friend. Also included in this law that unloading must be done free of charge, but loading is allowed to be done for payment. And one must also walk along the distance of a parsa in case the animal will falter a second time. So after you loaded or unloaded it, you have to walk with him a bit. And you can take compensation for this because it's your time that you're accompanying him and the animal. You find this in the chapter about Metziah, second chapter. This mitzvah applies to all locations and all times, both men and women. One who transgresses this mitzvah has violated aseh, and displayed a trait of cruelty, which is repugnant. And whoever is not compassionate towards God's creatures, guess what? Hashem doesn't show compassion to him. For his physical being is not worthy of receiving compassion. Okay, we'll stop here and we'll continue next week.